Not yet. It's still. There it is.
We are live. Okay. Got a few minutes, everybody. This is Stephen Quitzel. Got my good friend Matt from Microcap Millionaires. Gonna have a good time today. We're gonna talk about really some fast-moving, low-price stocks, and it's interesting because I get requests for education like this all the time, and I think most of you know me. I've been working with Matt for a very long time, and this is really what he specializes in. So we partner up from time to time. Maybe once a quarter, we do a joint webinar together to really bring a different angle, a different education piece. And it's interesting because I know the market's really chopping around right now, but the way I look at it and the way I always have, when you're in a correction mode or when you're in choppy mode, that's the best time to get your wish list ready, because a lot of some of these aggressive stocks, they're pulling back, they're getting ready to pop. So, that's kind of what we want to talk about today, how to be ready if the market pops. And this could be a day by day thing, it could pop tomorrow. Kind of really want you to be prepared for some of these fast moving stocks. I've been talking, but I want to make sure everybody can hear me. Can everybody can you type in the chat box if the sound is okay? Can I do a mic check? Matt, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just trying to wait. I know there's a delay on the chat box right now.
Let's type in the chat box too. Hello.
Usually is. Okay, so it sounds like everybody sounds okay. That sounds good. And we're going to get started in just a second. We're going to let people come in, maybe about another minute. So I am speaking to you from Russellville, Arkansas. Matt, why don't you tell them where you're from?
Where I'm from, man, I'm from all over the place, but I'm originally from Ohio. I was born in Youngstown, Ohio, raised in Columbus and Toledo area, and now living in sunny South Florida as of last August. That's a long story, all of our moves, but yeah, that's where I'm at, man. I'm in Punta Gorda, Florida right now. So
have you got used to, I know in Florida it rains a lot. I mean, has it started raining a lot there? Is there like a season, or is it just constantly raining all the time because it's tropical?
Yeah, that's a good question. Right now, it's actually the dry season, so we're not supposed to get really. I mean, and really, we haven't hardly got any rain in the last couple of months, and we're not supposed to get any rain. I think until it's either early May or early June. My dad was telling me about it, and I'm not sure yet, but it's really dry here right now.
Really, I would not have guessed that.
Yep.
Of course, I haven't been traveling much lately.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, everybody, I think we're going to get started. I'm going to reintroduce Matt. This is Stephen Quitzel from thetradersplan.com. Most of you know me. I'm hosting today Matt from Microcap Millionaires, and he's a good friend of mine, and we've worked together over the years on a lot of projects and a lot of presentations. And, the last, I would say really since, October, September of last year, some of the lower price stocks, I mean, they just really, really shot up. Think of the cannabis market and some of the electric vehicle market and some of these really fast movers, powerful stocks, and a lot of them started under 20. And we did really well, and since then, and Matt did really well, and since then, they pulled back the last month. But I got to be honest with you, I'm really excited about when they start to pop. And I always say, like, take it one day at a time. It could pop tomorrow. We could be out of this choppy action. And I don't mind these little pullbacks at all, because it gives me an opportunity to really see, what some of the strongest stocks are holding up. And it really gives me time to craft my wish list. So, and Matt's going to talk about that. He's going to show you how to find some of these fast moving stocks, his process. And if most of you have been following me for a minute, I trend follow growth stocks, and that's my specialty. And what Matt really does well, and he's going to show you is, he specializes in some of the lower price stocks and how to get that really, really big move, right? So Without further ado, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to pass it on to my good friend Matt and let him take it over. This is probably going to be approximately an hour. You know, we want to be definitely respectful of your time, and we're happy that everybody is on here with us. So, Matt, why don't you take it over?
All right. Thanks so much, Stephen. I really appreciate collaborating with you and your friendship as well. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Everybody, hope you're ready. You may want to have maybe a notepad ready to go because I'm gonna give you a couple of URLs here that you're gonna want to write down or at least type out that are gonna be really helpful to you, that give you some access to some free information that's really potentially impactful for you and to give you some good trade ideas, even you know, that you can use in the next possibly 24 hours or so. All right, so. The title of this webinar is Fast Hacks to Find Stocks Ready to Run. I know the title of the webinar said under 20, so most of them that I'm going to show you are under 20. I think there's one that's in the 20s, like a 23 or 24 for the sake of the case study that I'm going to share with you. But, you know, the basic idea here is I like to find, for my Microcap Millionaire service, I like to find stocks that are, you know, at the most like $20, $21, $22 a share. And beneath that, because they tend to have, you know, a great potential to make, you know, a 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe even 100% move, more so than a stock that's $200 a share, right? It's just sort of how it works. The law of big numbers, I guess you could say. But fast hacks to find stocks ready to run is what we're going to cover right now. So let's talk in detail, guys, what we're going to cover. You are in the right spot right now if you're looking to, let me go ahead and maximize this. Stephen, if you could just keep an eye on the chat, I'm going to make this this webinar full size. Okay.
I got you. I'll keep an eye on it.
Cool. All right. So you're in the right spot if you're looking to, one, discover ways to quickly find stocks right for a big move just about every day. Two, access an easy chart setting to judge the trend of a stock. And you'll actually, as a bonus for just coming to the webinar and registering for it, you guys, in about an hour from now, you're going to get an automated email that shares a link to this chart setting in TradingView. You may have to create a free account in TradingView to access it, but it's worth it. And I'll show you why in a little bit. But it's a free setting. It's sort of like a you know, green means, you know, bullish trend, and red means bearish trend. It's that simple, and it's on the hourly chart frame. We'll talk more about that later, but it's very helpful to me, and I think it will be to you as well. Number three, quick mindset adjustments you may need to make as a trader. Now, this is the kind of thing that, you know, you might scoff at. Some people might look at and say, oh, you know, I don't want to talk about all that, you know, mumbo jumbo. But I'm not really into psychology either, trust me. But these are just basic things you need to understand as a trader that really, over time, you'll see have a really big effect on whether your account grows or shrinks. So you're going to want to pay attention to that stuff. Just going to briefly cover that, but I will cover it because it's so helpful. And then number four is kind of tied into number three a little bit, how to adjust your risk reward parameters so you can finally steadily grow an account, right? All right, so here's a disclaimer. You guys know stocks and options trading has large potential rewards, but also large potential risk, right? We all know that. It's about trading smartly. It's about doing it the right way where you increase your odds of success. But I'll let you guys go ahead and take a quick skim of that, of the disclaimer. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future returns. You guys know all that stuff. But they do require us to use these disclaimers anytime we talk about trading, just to make sure you guys understand that there is obviously risk involved. Okay, so let's keep moving along. A little bit about me. I won't spend too much time on yours truly, but just so you kind of get to know me a little bit, if you don't already, probably a lot of you already do. But I am originally from, like I said before, I'm from Ohio, originally born in Youngstown, raised in Toledo, short time outside of Columbus. And then I lived briefly just recently in Cleveland for a little while. And I am a veteran of the Marine Corps. I did 4 years in the Marines, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, born again Christian. I am also a Cleveland Browns and an Indians fan, in case, you know, maybe there's some fellow long-suffering Browns fans out there with me. today. That's kind of cool. But I had a lady email me not too long ago, and she said she's a subscriber, and she congratulated me because the Browns made the playoffs. I thought that was pretty cool that she remembered that I was a Browns fan. So anyways, that's a street I was at. It was near a park where my kids were playing baseball, and I slowed down. I said, look, that intersection, that road is actually called Penny Boy Road. So I got out and had my wife take a picture of me there, pointing to that sign on the road because, kind of sort of into penny stocks. I kind of hold that term loosely, right? Some people say, well, penny stock's only $1 and under, but, hey, a penny stock to me is anything like around $20. So anyways, I just thought that picture was kind of fun to share with you guys today. And so here's a picture of my Stimmy account, quote unquote. This is an account that I had to empty one time for to pay some bills, a tax bill that was a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. But I did I funded this account with my my stimulus check last year, and you can see it's done pretty well since. So just to give you an idea that the person you're listening to, I do have an idea of what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing as far as trading, and so you can look at the Dow Jones, 23%, not bad in the last year. But my account did 135%. Yes, there were some dips and bumps along the way and some sideways periods, but overall, you can see that if you do this stuff the right way over time, guys, over the course of a few months or a year, you will see that growth in your account that you really want and desire. Okay, boom, here we go. Full transparency. I will offer a solution towards the end of this webinar where I offer to do most of the grunt work for you and boil everything down into entry and exit alerts that comes with, commentary explaining why I like a stock, why I don't like it anymore. The list goes on and on. So just to make sure you guys know, there is an offer. I'm going to give you some really great free training here in just a second, but, just in the interest of transparency, just so you know, there will be a very, very, very good offer at the end of this webinar. All right. So let's start off on number one. Discover ways to quickly find stocks ripe for a big move. All right, here we go. Walter Bloomberg. I don't think that's his last name for real, but that's his name on Twitter, and his handle is @Delta1. So if you have a notepad, you want to write down his address or type it out in your computer and make a bookmark in your browser, you would go to twitter.com/Delta1. And so what this man named Walter does that makes him such a valuable follow on Twitter is he posts real-time headlines from the Bloomberg terminal. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the Bloomberg terminal, it's the best place to get the fastest news headlines. So I think what happens with Bloomberg is Bloomberg feeds the headlines to people who use their terminal about anywhere between 10 and 30 seconds, maybe a full minute ahead of the other news wires. I'm not sure why they get the ability to do that. That's just my opinion. I haven't verified that, but I have seen some things to indicate that. But anyways, it is, why else would you pay $2,500 a month for the news? Or you could just, get Reuters headlines. So anyways, he posts these headlines from Bloomberg on his Twitter account. Now, a lot of them are not going to be, to be clear, are not going to be market moving headlines. Some of them are just going to be, the things about, Iran and the explosive in the Middle East on their, that I believe that didn't move the market in any way, shape, or form. However, there are some things that he'll post, and I'm going to show you exactly what that he posts in a timely manner that are very, very interesting and tidbits of information that you can use to find ideas to trade. So here's what I mean. All right, so what he does every morning is Walter posts upgrades and downgrades that are meaningful. So there's probably more upgrades than this on any given day. But what Bloomberg does is Bloomberg narrows it down to those that are actually meaningful and those have the biggest potential to move a stock. So here on March 12th, so that was just less than a week ago, he posted that Dennys was upgraded by Stevens, an analyst shop called Stevens, upgraded to overweight from equal weight. Okay, so Dennys is, a stock that was at the time was a little bit under 20 bucks a share. You can see the stock gapped higher and then had a nice move throughout the day, a sort of like a full body candle. So there you go. It's just, you find your entry and maybe in the pre-market, because he sent this out at 6:22 a.m. Eastern time, so it gives you plenty of time to find an entry pre-market, and then has a nice surge throughout the day. So pretty cut and dry, guys. I mean, that's an easy way to find an idea for a trade in the morning. Not saying that this doesn't work on stocks that are under or stocks that are over 20, 25 bucks a share, but from what I've seen, it really works the best on cheap stocks, on low price stocks. All right, low price per share anyways. All right, so here's another one from March 15th, it's a couple days ago. So PSTG, Raymond James upgrades to strong buy from outperform. And I have learned that Raymond James is one of the best, they call him Ray J for short, one of the best analysts outfits out there. So when they, make something a strong buy, you want to pay attention. So PSTG was upgraded by Ray J on March 15th, 2 days ago. Price target of $30 a share. So let's see how it reacted from the opening bell throughout the day. All right. So PSTG opened up around 23 and then surged to 24. So 8% move throughout the day. Not bad. Not a bad idea for a quick trade. All right. Here's another one. iHeartRadio. JP Morgan upgrades to neutral from underweight. Price target $17 a share, iHeartRadio. All right, so here's another one. This is just from yesterday. So Tuesday, March 16th, 2021, the stock opens up around $17.50 and then surges all the way to 19 bucks a share throughout the day. So there you go. It works, guys. It's proof that it works. Again, we are in basically a bull market. Obviously, you have to factor in market conditions. Market's a little weak today. So, it's not going to work every day, because some days the market's just so weak overall that it just takes everything with it to the downside. But this is a good way to find individual trades. Sometimes they'll go up multiple days. So it's not just necessarily for a day trade. And this webinar is not about day trading, but what it's showing you is ways to find catalysts for trades. Whether you treat it as a day trade or a swing trade is up to you. All right. So here's another one, Etsy. This is from a long time ago, but I did save it in my notes, and I'm glad I did, because it shows you that this strategy works. It works all the time. It's not just a 2021 or a 2020 thing. This is all the way back from 2016. Etsy was initiated with a buy at Citigroup with a target of $14 a share. This is back when Etsy was only $10 a share, and you can see the next day earnings came out, and they missed on EPS, but they beat on revenues and raised guidance. So here's what happened after that pre-earnings upgrade on Etsy. The stock went parabolic, went from 10 to 14, and sort of hung out in that area and held its gains really well. Don't look at Etsy now, but it's basically a I think it's about 20 bagger now, isn't it? Isn't it over 200 a share, something like that? So the point is, guys, is that these analyst upgrades really work. Sometimes they'll turn into a nice swing trade, maybe even a long-term hold, if you're in the right kind of a company like Etsy was, a few years ago. So that's another sort of small note just to give you guys, is that when you find a low-price stock and it gets an analyst upgrade, or maybe two, right, maybe like a day or 2 or 3 days before earnings, really pay attention to that, because I haven't seen too many of those stocks go down after the earnings. So it's maybe an idea to consider maybe a position even before earnings. I know it's really risky, but it is sort of like a tell that I've discovered and I found to be effective over time, is the earnings upgrades, the analyst upgrades, and then especially the analyst upgrades right before an earnings report. All right. All right. So here's another way to find trade ideas. So you treat them as a swing trade or day trade, up to you. But if you go to this, and this is going to be another URL that you're going to write down or type out, or in another tab in your browser, type it out and then save as a bookmark. So you're going to go to dayminer.herokuapp.com. And what you'll see is just a basic little website that you can open on your computer or on your phone or your iPad, whatever. And what it does is it ranks stocks by a score of mentions on Reddit. And you'll see if you click the three lines, that little menu bar in the top right-hand corner of your screen, if you go to that site right now, you can toggle a few things and adjust it to the parameters that you prefer. And if you spend enough time there, maybe go there every day for a few days, you might start to get the hang of it and say, okay, the stock here is gaining in popularity, gaining in mentions, but maybe it hasn't moved up that much yet. Maybe you can catch that on the early innings of a move as it gains popularity on Reddit. Now, as a full disclaimer, I am not, super active on Reddit or monitoring mentions of stocks on Reddit. I think the whole GME and AMC short squeezes, you definitely can give the Reddit traders a lot of credit for that, for sort of banding together and diamond handing it, so to speak. But as far as that being a long-term strategy, we'll have to wait and see. But it is, I think, relevant right now. So I wanted to share it with you because this is a useful tool that gives you a really clear insight as to what is trending on Reddit as far as popular stocks. GME will probably be number one for a while, but those rankings could change. And if you find a stock that, like I said, is maybe sort of going sideways for a while and starts to uptrend a little bit, maybe consider that as a potential stock to get in as it gains in popularity on Reddit. All right. So a quick way or a fast hack, like I said, to get ideas for a trade every day. All right. That's free as well. So the first two things I showed you were free. Twitter, obviously, is free. That site right here, dayminer.herokuapp.com, is free as well. Now, the last tip I'm going to show you, the strategy I'm going to show you, is not free. It's actually $300 a month, but you can get a discount for $275, which I know is still very expensive. But I pay it, because I really like seeing the options activity on unusual options activity, especially when it comes to stocks that are under $20 a share, and especially when they're like under $10 a share. That's when it really can get interesting. So that's what I'm showing you right here. In late December of last year, I saved a screenshot on my computer so I could document this as a case study. But I saw some calls go through my screener on Watt. So those calls were for the February 350 strike. And so you can see the stock actually did get to that strike. They paid 30 cents for them. And it was when Watt was trading at $1.99. And then the second print is when Watt was trading at $1.98 a share. So you can see these calls, they sort of lit up the stock. There were some chasers there that day, as you can see, where it hit 273. You can see that price tag right there on it in late December, guys, where it says 273. That was the same day I saw these calls. So it surged that day and then kind of went splat over the next week, but then started to ascend higher and uptrend higher once sort of all the the chasers and the paper hands got out, right? So anyways, pretty interesting that there were some call buyers in a stock that was basically dead. I mean, if you look at Watt on my chart from late August to late December before that one-day spike, I mean, really, who would have looked at that chart and wanted to buy that stock? Probably like two people, right? Because it was just dead. It was no man's land. It was a constant dribble lower. It was, probably just the company diluting shares so they could keep the doors open, keep their executives' salary paid. Who knows? But anyways, these calls flash through my screener and everything changes. The entire trajectory of the stock changed, not just for one day, but it changed for months, right? The stock hit a high of $7.69 in late February. All right, so these are what I like to say odd names, odd lots. So every day on my screener, guys, what I see is I'll see trades go through for stocks like Apple, stocks like Facebook, Boeing, industrial, tech stocks, whatever, NVIDIA. But what I don't see every day is people buying calls on stock like Watt, W-A-T-T, Energis Corporation. And when I do see those, I take note. And what they signal to me is that there's a good likelihood that that stock is going to go higher, and it's going to go higher for more than just one day. Now you can see it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to, it wouldn't have been easy to buy it on that first day and then hold it when it went down to 179. But you can see the general trend changed pretty quickly. All right. So it's an odd name, meaning, you don't see people buying call options on a stock like Watt every day. It's not like Apple or Facebook or Boeing. And there's a sweep, meaning these people who bought the calls bought them on the ask, and they bought all the calls that the market maker was willing to sell to them at that particular time until they could sort of reload those available calls. So they did it twice. They did it at least twice here. They bought them at, the time was 9:51, that's Eastern time. You can see it right after the word multi. It says 9:51 Eastern time. And then there was another batch of calls. That sweep was bought about 14 seconds later. So everything is documented right there, guys, in that screenshot. When I see these unusual calls go through my screener, and I literally sit at my desk all day waiting for signals like this, and I'm getting better and better at recognizing this stuff. When I see these types of signals, I know something is about to happen on these cheap little stocks. So it's really, really exciting to me, and I'm getting better and better at it as the months go by. All right, so another one, IDEX. Somebody bought April $2 calls right there where the arrow is pointing on your chart. And it was when IDEX was about $2.20. So again, it didn't go up right away, but you can see the stock was sort of in a sideways trend after that big spike in late November of last year. And then proceeded to have a really nice uptrend after that. So you can see that on that print right there, if you guys look at it, I know it's a lot of numbers and letters, but it says IDX = 220. That tells you those calls were bought when IDX was at $2.20, and then had a great uptrend. So this can be a very, very, I wouldn't recommend buying these calls. I wouldn't go trying to buy these calls myself, but it does give me a signal to consider getting long the stock, right? I'm not going to buy calls in some obscure name like this, but it is a tip off to me that I possibly might want to get in the stock. All right. All right. Here's another one. DNN. This is, so far this year, everyone, this is probably the stock, the cheap little penny stock that I saw the most call buying on by far. It was over the course of probably 2 days. It was a call buyer that was just going bananas buying these calls back in February last month. And you can see that screenshot there. They were buying them, loading them up the stock was at 117, basically on all these prints. And then the stock went up to $1.80 a share before it had to pull back with, to be fair, the entire market pulled back, right? So, and then just recently I saw these DNN calls fire off again. So I'm actually back in the stock right now. But again, another odd name, right? Odd lots. You don't see call buyers on a $1.17 mining stock every day, that's for sure. And you surely don't see them in force where they're buying sweeps, where they're buying, all these odd lots, right? So like 2,498 calls, 1,166 calls. It's not 1,000. It's not 2,500. They're basically buying odd lots, meaning odd numbers of calls in each batch, right? So that's another one of the tells that I've spotted, is that when it's an odd number, instead of just someone buying 500 or 1,000, they just get all they can with some weird number like 686 or 713. For whatever reason, guys, that indicates someone who really, really wants to push that stock higher.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
Hey, I got a couple people asking, what's the name of the service that you subscribe to for this unusual call option buying?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's called Trade Alert, but there's a dash between trade and alert. So you go to trade-alert.com, and it's kind of a basic looking website if it still looks the way I think it does, but you know, they can get you access to this feed, and you know, as long as you're okay with you know, the $275 a month, I think it's worth it. So all right. So anyways, we'll keep going, guys. Another one, last one for the unusual call options, GoPro, 9,970 calls bought here on GoPro. Right there in my chart. Sorry, this chart looks different than the other ones, but this is the one I saved in my notes. So anyways, right where the arrow's pointing, you see the stock had a nice rally afterwards. Same thing. You don't see lots of call buyers on a stock like GoPro every day, like you would with juxtaposed to Apple. Okay, so same thing, same methodology. Okay. All right, so let's get into the chart setting that you need to judge the trend of a stock. Now, I really like the hourly chart setting when I'm as a swing trader. Now, your day trading is a different story, but as a swing trader, if you're going to buy something, at least hold it over for one night. Hold it over one night as a swing trade. And as a swing trader, there's the setting I like is the hourly chart. Now, what I use is a site called TradingView.com, and that's the link. I won't try to, you know, speak out that URL. It's kind of long, but what you guys are going to get, let's see what time is it, 1:30. At about 2 o'clock, you guys are going to get an automated email from Webinar Jam that's going to have a link to this chart. Okay, so that's your bonus for registering for the webinar and showing up. Is that you're getting access to this chart setting, and you can see it's really good. I mean, it keeps you in stocks when they're uptrending and gives you a warning when that trend is possibly changing. You can see sometimes those trend changes don't last too long, like on Riot here when they gave a red signal a couple times, it still kept going up, maybe a day or so afterwards. But it is something to give you a general keep your finger on the pulse of a stock. If it's a green trend, it'll help, you know, give you the confidence you need to be able to stay in that stock for more gains. Or on the contrary, if the trend changes to a red signal, you're going to want to be more careful if you choose to stay long, or you may just want to get out. All right. Or if you're really adventurous, maybe go short or buy puts. All right. So, you know, Riot has been one of the stocks that's been really good to me. I think Steven traded it too. But it's been really good to me last year and this year, and been able to successfully navigate through some of the swings and the volatility in the stock too, which is really cool. Avoiding, you know, the little corrections that it has as Bitcoin corrects. It's very much tied to Bitcoin. But anyways, you guys can see green means go, red means not go, right? So it's a really good, helpful tool. And again, you'll get that link in your email inbox here in about 28 minutes or so. All right, so number 3, quick mindset adjustments you may need to make as a trader. All right, so here's something to think about, guys. I'm trying to think, when I was making this webinar, making these slides, I was thinking, how can I really communicate? Like, what do you feel that needs that is wrong that you need to correct as a trader? How about this? How about when you get nervous when you're up on a trade? You know, if you've just had a bad trade, you have a trade that goes green. Sometimes you're like, oh man, I just want to go ahead and book the trade. You know, you have to really learn how to get comfortable with being right. You have to learn how to get comfortable with being in a stock that's up, right? Because what do they say? And it's right when you hear people say a lot of reasons people struggle with trading is because they're quick to book gains, but not so quick to book losses, right? So you got to have conviction about a stock. You know, do your homework, like Jim Cramer says. I mean, it's true. And I'm going to show you a solution that sort of helps do it for you. But you got to have conviction about a stock. You know, Riot. I had conviction about Riot because I saw the price of Bitcoin going up, and I was pretty confident it was going to keep going up. You know, from Thanksgiving Day on Bitcoin, you know, it was at 16,000, And then, over the weekend, just past weekend, it hit 60, I think 61.5, or at least 60,500. One of the other. Anyways, it went over 60 grand, and it's pulled back now. But you got to have conviction about a stock. If you have conviction about the underlying story or a catalyst that's coming that's going to keep keep the stock with a bid and keep it ascending higher, that's part of it too. It's not just about buy and sell signals. Obviously, you have to understand some of the story behind the story on a stock, why you like it or why you don't like it. Okay. So that's basically what I want to cover as far as mindset adjustments is you have to learn to really be okay with being up on a stock. Okay. Like I'm up 8%. Great. Well, if you just took a couple losses for 20%, which is probably about my threshold for a loss. I don't really like to hold anything beyond 20, maybe 25% loss. But if I'm selling all my winners at 10% and taking all my losers at 20, 25%, it's not going to be long before I'm really starting to struggle with trading, right, and growing my account. Okay, so what you have to ask yourself as well is there's probably little things that you are good at and little things that are your weaknesses. Now, as an example, I've had some problems in the past, guys, being busy and running a business and, working from home, having my wife and kids here, the quarantine, you name it, all of us being in one place, trying to manage more than one account. So that means, you have to be logged into both accounts. Sometimes I found myself, I'll be in the same position in two accounts and I'll forget to put in my, like a stop loss order or a sell order in one account, even though I put it in the other account, like, oh crap, I forgot, and it ends up screwing up our results in the second account. So, maybe I can improve on that. I'm sure I can, but in the past, I've had problems trying to trade in more than one account. I'm just being honest with you. So, what I tend to do now, what I've done recently is I'm focused on active trading in just one account. And the other accounts I have, I just sort of use them as long-term accounts. I'm not worried about fluctuations. I'm going to hold those stocks probably at least for several months. And I'm not really doing that much active trading in there. Okay, so find out what is your strength. Some people might trade better on the go. They might trade better off of their phone. Other people, you might trade better only when you can be at home or be at the office and be behind your computer or your laptop. Okay, so only you can figure that out about yourself, but be aware of that. All right, so lastly, adjust your risk reward parameters so you can finally steadily grow in account. All right, so sort of along the same lines of what we just talked about, but your max loss should be smaller than your max gain. I like to use around 25% max loss for stocks. Max gain, be willing to let that thing run. We closed out a trade in Riot last month. Yes, it did go higher than it kept going up after I sold it. However, I did let that thing run until it went up 135%. So that was really cool. As Bitcoin trended higher, you have to be willing to let them run sometimes, guys, if you really want to see that account growth. Or you can just sell a portion, sell half. Selling half on 100%. Obviously, everybody talks about selling half on 100% and riding freebies. Sometimes it's not that cut and dry. Sometimes you got to sell half at 75% or 60% or more than half. At 60%. So the remainder is free. So use your head, guys, and figure it out. Figure out how to protect your initial capital once you're in a stock that makes a good move. Okay, and then have the patience and the discipline to ride it out and see how much more gains you can squeeze out of that remaining half of your position. Also, understanding when a trade has run its course. So understand the catalyst and how they work. If you're in a stock because of a specific catalyst, and then that catalyst goes away, or it's in the past, it's in the calendar, it's already happened, and you're still in the stock, you have to ask yourself, okay, why do I still like the stock? Why am I still in it? Is it just because it hasn't violated this moving average or that moving average? Fine, but also understand, guys, that there is opportunity cost when holding a stock too long. I just got out of a stock. I think it was first thing this week. It was MAC, the real estate investment trust that for the malls, which is where GameStop and AMC, a lot of those are in malls, right? And the stock was looking like it wanted to go up, but then it would go up like a buck with 13 to 14 and then sell off back to 13. And it would go up 14 and go back to 13. And so it's still doing that. So it's just like, I'm just done. Opportunity cost there. It's just my money is tied up. I needed to free up that money for another trade. So I moved on. So you have to understand when a trade has run its course. All right. Time commitment for this process. I trade and or look for opportunities in the market every day. I do it all day. It is a full-time job. I'm here every day. Like I said, I'm watching my option scanner. I'm watching the upgrades. I'm watching the newswire. I'm watching, what's trending as far as social media and what's trending as far as volume and price and all that, and news stories that have good catalysts that may cause a stock to go up for more than just, an hour, go up for a day or 2 or 3 or maybe a week or 2. So you have to ask yourself, guys, do you have the time to go through this process every day? If you do, that's great. However, I'm guessing a lot of you probably are getting back to the office now. The economy is opening back up. The restaurants are opening back up. And a lot of us are going to find ourselves on the road and going out to office space more so than we were, this time last year when we were all forced to stay at home all day. All right. So if you have time commitment for this process, I want to let you know that time commitment is pretty substantial, guys. All right. So this is why I created my service called Microcap Millionaires. So hardworking people like you can leverage my time and efforts to quickly and steadily grow your accounts. It's just that simple. I send both buy and sell alerts to members of my Microcap Millionaire service. So for today's webinar, I have a new offer that I have only made available once before. And when I did, it sold out, right? The offer expired. It's over. It's done with. But now for you guys, Steven subscribers, I've made it open. I've opened it up just once more. And so we'll talk about that here in a second, but let's talk about what you're going to get if you lay claim to it. So you get access to the members area. You can see a nice little login page there. You log in, you get access to a course and all the recent updates, alerts and updates in the members area. They'll be sent to you via email and text message. If you have an area code outside of the US, I can send it to you via WhatsApp, the WhatsApp app. All right, so that's basically what it looks like when you log in and when you get inside the members area. And then, you get the strategy course. Like I said, you'll see it on the left-hand portion of that image on the right. You'll see that there's different categories for that course. You just, boom, log in, click them, and then the video populates, and you can go through the course in about maybe an hour and change, and you're on your way, okay? So this course is included with the membership. So with that said, guys, pay attention. This is important. If you were to go to microcapmillionaires.com right now and go and click on the tab where you were to purchase the service or buy the newsletter, what you would be brought to is a page that looks just like this. It's a secure order form where you would be able to join the service for $97 a month. Now, a lot of people do. All the time on a regular basis, people join the service at $97 a month. A lot of people stay for multiple years at $97 a month, and that's fine. If they want that monthly plan, that's what it's there for. And then also, if they want to add text alerts, it's actually a slight upcharge of $297, and that's for the full year, as long as they stay as an active member. Okay, so $97 a month plus $297 for the text alerts. So if they stay on as a member for a year, for 12 months, that'd be $1,164. If they grab the text alerts, add $297 to that, whatever that comes out to. I can't do it off the top of my head. But you can see that's a good little chunk of change for a year. And a lot of people make it worth it. And of course, that's probably why they stay on as subscribers and don't cancel. But today, what I'm doing for you guys is I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to, say, hey, pay $97 a month. I'm going to do something a lot cooler than that. For this webinar only special, it's going to be 12 months of alerts, excuse me, for just $497. All right. So actually, I changed my mind. What we're going to do is 24 months of alerts for just $497. You basically buy one, get one, a BOGO, right? Just like they have at Publix or, Winn-Dixie or, whatever the grocery store chain is around you. They probably have buy one, get one sales. So that's what I'm doing right now. So it's over 50% off if it was just for 1 year. But not only is this just for 1 year, not only is this a big discount on if you were to just get it for 1 year, but I'm throwing in an additional year. So 24 months for $497, and that includes the text alerts. So guys, check this out. I'm going to pop a link in the chat so you can click on it in a second. But check this out. I saw this when I was at Chili's grabbing some dinner with my wife a couple months ago. I think it was back in December. And this guy texted me, and I'm thinking, like, who is this? I don't know who this is. He's texting me. So anyways, it ends up being someone who wants to sign. He was an existing subscriber. He was paying the $97 a month and wanted to switch over to the $497 special that I'm sharing with you right now. I'm making available to you right now. And he said, basically he was having a couple of issues with, making sure his login would be the same and wouldn't change to the members area. And, I said, basically, everything stays the same. And he says, great, please use this number for the text messages. Thanks and happy holidays. For your information, I am up $137,000 year to date using your service. So I said, wow, thanks for letting me know. So it's just a pretty cool little testimony I wanted to share with you guys. So you can see that, following along, and I think, I'm not exactly sure, but I think he was a member for about maybe 6 or 7 months of 2020 when he sent that message. So he wasn't even a member for the full year. All right, guys, so it's not 12 months, but 24 months subscription to Microcap Millionaires, 24/7 access to the members area, the strategy course, text alerts. You're also going to get front of the line direct access to me via email. You send me an email, I will get back to it very quickly. Also, as another bonus, you're going to get access to a trading hacks video class. So along the same lines of the free stuff I taught you, it's going to be along those lines. It was something that I sold. I think it was either $297 or $197 just for access to the class. It's going to be yours free today if you join, and that's the URL. I'm gonna plop it in the. I'm gonna get to questions here in a second too, but let me plop this in the. I'm gonna set a sticky message here. All right, guys. So there should be a sticky message. I'll put it in chat too, just regular chat. All right, cool. So a lot of questions. So let's start getting to the questions here in just a second. But let me just cover a couple more things, all right? So again, that link is in the chat, guys. If you want to go ahead and smash that link, it'll take you to the secure order form and you can lock in your spot, right? So it's just a couple more things. So special guarantee, email me proof of making at least 3 trades from the service within 60 days of your purchase. And if you've lost money overall, I'll refund your money and cancel your subscription. So the risk is all mine, right? So this is fair. I think it's fair enough to ask folks if they want to join the service. Want to guarantee, that's fine. But all I ask is that you actually use the service. And if it doesn't work for you, you show me that you've lost money, then I am totally, that's totally fine with me. I think it's totally fair for both of us. If you at least show that you use the information. If you lost, hey, I'm, really sorry about that, and I'll refund your money and we'll part as friends. Okay, so there's a guarantee. You'll see that on the order form too. 2021 trade results so far. It's been somewhat of a little bumpy first quarter, hasn't it, guys? But I wanted to show you these just in the interest of full transparency. We did Bed Bath & Beyond 10%. Some of them end up as just quick little winners or losers because the trade runs its course. Like I said, opportunity cost. You don't want to stay in a trade too long and just let it go sideways forever and take up all your mind share. So Bed Bath & Beyond 10%, WTRH 7% loss, VIH 10% win, Momo 5% win, February GIC 23% loss, Riot 135% win. I told you about DNN 15% win. ITP 20% loss, IACA, which is Taboola SPAC, lost 10% on that, as SPACs all have been taking a bath lately. So unfortunately, that one was not an exception to that. TH pending, not out of that one yet. They got earnings coming up. I think that one's going to pop on earnings as the oil service sector recovers. That one sort of hasn't recovered because it's just such a illiquid kind of stock, but they're coming out with earnings on the 30th. I think the stock's going to pop after that, as people see that TH is thriving, along with the return of the oil drillers to the Permian Basin. We can talk more about that later if you guys want. Also, VRA was a quick 15%er. Party City pending, did really well with that one a couple times, 2-3 times last year. I think it's going to rally again. Mac, I told you about Mac. That was basically a scratch trade, just a waste of time. Ended up being a waste of time. Kodak, small, very small winner, basically a scratch trade or 1 to 3% win. And then DNN, again, I told you I was in that one again because of the unusual options. That one's pending up a little bit on that, at least as of the time I started this webinar. Okay. So,
can I throw in something on that? Can you go back to that slide?
Yes, sir.
And I just want to kind of call this out for a second. You only need, a few of these rides. You see ride in there in February up 135%. You can get some smaller winners, like 15, 20% every month, but you only need a few of the big winners a year to just catapult you way over the market performance. And it's interesting, you're looking for these every day, right? But you really only don't even need a ton of them to make your year. I know, we traded Riot last year and some cannabis stocks, and they were all started out under $10 and just absolutely exploded. Most of them are $50 a share now. So, I just kind of wanted to call that out. Like you get a few of those big winners, and especially if you get one like every couple months, it's like triple digits. Man, you can, be sitting on a really good account.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's one of those things that I think we talk about and it's understandable, but I think it's one of those things that people don't really get until they do it until they actually have the discipline themselves to, sort of keep the losers small, move on from the ones that go sideways. But the ones that start running, man, you got to let them run. So, yeah, Stephen, great point. You don't need, do I wish I could show you results of every stock up here being 50, 75, 135%? Of course I do. But, that's just not reality, guys. But when you trade right, when you're on to enough stocks that have the possibility of doing what Riot has done several times over the last 12 months or so, that's when you position yourself to build your account, right? So trading is about building your account. It's also about having fun, but you're not going to have any fun unless you're building your account. Okay, so here's some results from last year. Just really did well. I think the win rate there is really good. I'm not sure what the average winner is, but you can see it for yourself there. And take a quick look, guys. I'm just take a swig of my drink right here. See 70%, 73%, 9%, 5%, 7%, 30, 31%, 25, 92. So a couple losers, 8%, 3%, 2%, and that's for the last half of last year. So, all right. So I just wanted to show you guys that because I always get people that want to know track record and stuff. So I want to just put that out there, put my best foot forward. So don't want you to think I don't want to share my track record or anything like that. I do want you guys to see. Okay, good.
I'll take that match any day. Looks pretty good.
Was that Steven?
I said I'll take that batch of trades any day. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, put that on repeat, man. Give me an algorithm. Give me a robot that does those trades for me.
Right.
All right. So, anyways, so who is my service ideal for? Day traders? No, I'm gonna be honest with you. You guys looking for day trades? That's that first strategy I shared with you. I guess you could use technically for day trades, but that's what I wanted to share with you some ideas. Whether you treat it as a day trade or not is up to you. But basically, my service is not for day traders. If to a day trader, they're looking for action, commentary, alerts once every 3 minutes. This is not for day traders. Day trading is extremely difficult. There are some people that succeed with it, but it's a very difficult thing to do, especially if you have responsibilities such as a full-time job or a business to run, family to take care of, concerns, maybe you're a part of a church, something, extracurricular, maybe, you're on a softball team, who knows? But all the different hats we wear in life, I recommend swing trading, at least starting out for people who want to get involved in the stock market, or even who have been involved for a long time, because it's just more palatable with the lifestyle we have as modern day Westerners, Americans. Okay, so you're a swing trader, meaning you want to, like I said, at least hold something overnight. We usually hold our stuff, like that Kodak trade I told you about. It was like a scratch trade, maybe made like 2% on it or something. I was in that stock for just like 3 or 4 days. I just wanted to get out before earnings. I thought it was going to run because of the NFT hype. I don't know if you guys have heard of that NFT stuff, the crypto paintings, whatever. So anyways, got in, got out, and but it's still a swing trade, even though we were in it for a few days. Other trades, I might be in them for a few weeks. All right. So, the thing is, I keep my subscribers updated the whole way through, right? If I'm holding a stock, I'm not going to just buy alert it and then out of the blue, 2 months later, Matt says sell. Well, no, what about the time in between? No, I'm going to keep you updated on my thoughts as time goes by. All right. So somebody asked over here. What is the typical amount of time that we hold a stock for? That's a really good question. I don't know off the top of my head, but like I said, sometimes they'll be inside of a week, but most of the time I find they'll run their course over the course of, probably 2, 3, 4 weeks or so, maybe 6 weeks. But like I said, I'm not going to leave you in the dark. I'm not going to leave you in the dark in the meantime. All right. So I'll keep you updated, things as they progress, good, bad, and ugly, and fully transparent with you. And I work hard for you guys, and I'll lose sleep if I don't do right by you. All right. All right. So again, click the link for access. It's a sticky note, so you get 1 year for free. And number one, it's a huge discount off the $97 a month if you're to stay for a year. And then number two, you're getting a whole year for free. So click the link, guys. It'll take you to a pretty little order form, and you guys can check out. And once you check out, just make sure you send me an email with your phone number, so that so I know that I'm putting your right phone number in the text message platform, because sometimes people will check out with their landline number on the order form, and so I'll try to send a text message to a landline. That doesn't work out too good. So anyways, let's get to some questions. Was there anything, Stephen, that stuck out to you? Because there's a lot of them right here. Let's see.
Let me see. So someone asked if you offer individual coaching, and then another asked about options on some of these stocks, or are most of them optionable?
Okay. Some of them do have options. Some of them don't. I'd say probably most stocks nowadays that I trade do have options, but I will caution folks, because Stephen, you and I have talked about this before. Some stocks may have a good setup and they may have options, but the options are just so illiquid. Right. Like there might be, it might be an $8 stock, and you want to buy the call options and the $9 strike that expire in a month, and they might be, a 10 cent bid and a 20 cent ask. So in order to buy those at the ask, you really got to cover that. You got to cover a huge spread. And, as a trader, guys, you just, as a rule of thumb, you don't want to do that. That's like buying a $10 stock. Buying a stock at $20 and the bid's at 10 and the ask is at 20, where you bought it at 20. If someone hits the bid at 10, 5 seconds later, you're already down 50%. So I would just be really careful. There's some that are fine to trade options on, like Riot, now of course has really liquid options, but you just really have to be careful. So I don't send out options alerts for these stocks, because mainly due to that, because they're just so illiquid and the spreads are too big on a lot of these options.
Well, I would make the argument too that, when you're dealing with the kind of powerful stocks that you are, you buy options for leverage. You don't always need the leverage, because, you're dealing with the Riots of the world. You're dealing with powerful stocks. So
yeah, great point. Yeah. And that's sort of, I guess, along what I was going to say next too, is they move so much, 50%, 100%, sometimes more than 100%. That's enough to get me excited. yeah, the 10 baggers are great, and I do play those options sometimes. But to answer your question, no, I don't send options alerts as part of this service because the stocks are so cheap.
Yeah. Sorry, and it kind of reminds me of, I got in a conversation with the customer, and he was asking about margin. I was like, to be honest with you, I don't trade a lot on margin because the stuff I already own is so strong and fast moving. Like, I don't need to feel the need to double down on that with margin. But yeah, sorry, I should throw that in there.
Oh, great, yeah, yeah, that's helpful. So, so somebody asked, is there a part of the day? Part of the day more for tech. So I think what you're trying to ask is what part of the day do I send my alerts out? And there's in a perfect world I could send them out at a certain time, and I know Steven has a system where he's able to do that. But however, guys, sometimes my alerts will come in the morning, and sometimes they'll come in the afternoon. It's just basically when the situation, I feel like the risk reward is the most in our favor as traders to get in, that's when I'll send the alert. So I know sometimes it can be inconvenient for someone to receive a stock alert at 2:45 Eastern time opposed to 10 a.m. However, guys, you have to understand the market doesn't really care about the convenience or inconvenience it's affording someone, right? So you have to adjust your mindset to be willing, or at least try to be able to be willing and available to make a trade, whether it's in the morning, at lunchtime, or in the doldrums of the afternoon. Okay, so the good thing is that you'll get the alert no matter what time it is. You'll get it via text, and you'll get it to your email inbox. Okay, so the answer to your question is that I send my alerts probably 95% of the time they come during market hours. I can tell you that at least. Very seldom will I send them before the market opens or after. Sometimes I'll send pre-market. The only time I'll send pre-market is if I'm if I've alerted a stock and it's making like a huge gap up the next day or a day following the alert. I'll say, hey guys, this gap is crazy. Let's just go ahead and book our profits. So I have done that in the past. But the bottom line is I'm basically going to lay everything out for you no matter what time of the day it is. And so it looks like we got some people joining. Handful of folks that are joining and take advantage of this offer. I appreciate you guys. Rick, Doc, Larry, Bob. I appreciate you guys taking advantage of the offer. John, thank you for your compliment. That's very I appreciate that. So a lot of times, guys, and I see, and I'm not above this criticism because I see this criticism a lot of times for people who have services like mine and like Steven's, is that they'll say, well, then they sent the alert out, but the stock went up so much after the alert, it wasn't worth it. And I understand that, and there's only so much someone can do to prevent that. But I do try to keep that in mind. And what I'll do is I'll include comments sometimes like, okay, I'm liking this stock for an entry, maybe around $2 a share. I'll say 2-ish. And so, that gives you an idea, maybe $1.90, maybe $2, maybe $2.05. But if it gets to $2.20, $2.25, $2.30 a share, what I'll do is I'll say, guys, remember, let's not chase. And, a lot of times what will happen is that stock might spike within an hour or so, but in the afternoon it settles back down, because a lot of times you'll see in the morning is there's all this pent up demand for stocks, all these people, putting in market orders, and the stocks come right back down in the afternoon. It might hold trend, but they'll still come down off of that morning spike, and so you'll get an opportunity. So I do appreciate that comment, though, John. The compliment, and I really appreciate that. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Question-wise, do you enter a trade with bracket orders, or do these stock blow right through stops? No, I don't use bracket orders. What I'll do is I'll scale in sometimes, if I like a stock and I think it goes down, and I think that's unjustified, sure, I'll add to it, and that's proven to be a good strategy, because that's one of the things too that you guys have to appreciate is knowing the story behind the story. What is the theme? You know, it's more than just a moving average. It's more than just, you know, a trend line on a chart. If you understand the story behind the story, understand, you know, like with Riot. If you had no idea why Riot had made it the run, you know, has made the run that it has made, that is, you know, transpired in the last year or so due to Bitcoin. If you didn't know that it was a Bitcoin miner, you know, you might not have been willing to hold it, but you understood the story behind the story. You understood that, you know, there was a real catalyst behind this stock making the move that it did, and it gave you confidence. So, and anyway, so if it, you know, Riot, I don't remember if I did this with Riot or not, to be honest, but you know, Riot makes a dip because Bitcoin pulls back $1,000. You know, I might say, hey guys, you know, I'm adding to Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, I'm adding to Riot here. So to answer your question, sometimes I will add into a position and tell subscribers that I think it's something to look at adding to if it's gone down, and but I don't use bracket orders. Okay, I don't use any complex orders really. Kathy, what time of day are you most active for alerts? Sort of talked about that already, but I would say, you know, it's either going to be first thing in the morning, first hour of trade, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., or late in the afternoon around 3 p.m. Okay. Thunder says, how do you copy and paste the chart software if you already have a TradingView account? There should be a link, guys. You know what I'll do is I'll send you guys I have all your email addresses, those of you that registered for the webinar. And what I'll do is I'll send another email to you guys with a little bit more information on that if you're having problems getting your TradingView trend chart set up, the ones that I Tony says, private message was very late to this meeting. Could we get a copy? Yes, I will send the replay out, no doubt, guys. All right, let's see. Somebody asked about a cancer stock earlier. Brad did. I stay away from those because they're too unpredictable with the pre-market drops and stuff. You get if they get a love letter, so to speak, from the FDA, you know, they can gap down like 80%. So I don't really mess with them. Yes, I will send that link. I just saw your other message here, Thunder. Somatic Doc, yes, I'll send that to you. The name of the service is Microcap Millionaires. So Semper Fi, so a fellow Marine in here. Just signed up, but can't. Okay, so maybe I didn't. I thought I made that chart setting public, but maybe I didn't. Anyways, guys, so if you want, you know, me to do the heavy lifting for you, just to reiterate the offer, if you want me to do the heavy lifting for you, where, you know, I give you, you know, the education, the groundwork is laid, the foundation is laid for you to go from someone who maybe doesn't have any experience or just little experience in the stock market. You get a trading account opened up, get some money in it, and understand what you're doing inside of that account. And then also, you know, give you the insight you need as far as, of course, yes, buy and sell alerts, but also give you some understanding of the story behind the story so that you learn as you go along. That it's not just, you know, buy here, sell here, that you're learning as you go. I think is the most enjoyable way to use a subscription service like mine. Okay, and that of course does include the text alerts. So you never miss an alert. You might miss an email if you're like me. I miss lots of emails. Like my dad will say, "Hey, did you see that email I sent you?" I'm like, well, let me check, right? But you never miss a text alert. Okay, and via my business email, I will see your emails. So you say, Matt, you say you just missed an email from your dad. That's true, but he sends them to my email I've had since like 2002. So, anyways, you guys, the emails that you guys send me, I will see them. And if you have a question, you want a response, I will respond to it as soon as I can. All right. Then you get the bonus trading hacks class, which is sort of ties on to the thinking that I shared with you and those 3 tips, those 3 strategies that I shared with you. If you want the options access, you can either, I guess the whole point of me sharing that with you is not just to share the strategy with you and advertise for Trade Alert, is also to basically make the point that I'm finding these trades myself and alerting them as part of the service. So, hey, why not get it on the cheap, right? And just subscribe to Microcap Millionaires, and I'll show you when next time I see something like this. So where's that Watt slide at? Let's see. Here's Watt right here. I mean, just crazy, right? From under $2 to $7.69 in a couple months. So, that's a huge tell, right? Just like the guys at the poker table, they see their opponent maybe scratch their ears or adjust their sunglasses or something. They know that's a tell. They either got a good hand or a bad hand. They know how to read the poker faces, right? So same thing with trading. I know how to read the tells, guys, because I spend my work week doing this, and therefore it is to your advantage to leverage the work that I put in, because I drill it down and blow it all down into easy to understand buy and sell alerts and commentary in between. All right, John says he just joined. Thank you, Jamie. All right, guys, so quite a few people are joining, and I really appreciate that. And let's see, what else can we cover? Sort of reiterate really quick is, again, guys, the text alerts, that's a huge bonus. Of course, you're getting over a 50% discount, even if this were just 1 year, but it's 2 years. But you're also getting the text alerts as a bonus. That's $300 about for 1 year. So that's included. Just so you understand, because it does cost me actually a pretty penny to send out text alerts to hundreds of people at once, and Steven knows that too. So just so you know, that's a real value that you're getting as a bonus. And but yeah, check out these. Worst case, guys, you can just tell me, hey, man, I want to join your service. Go jump in the lake. That's fine. I understand, but at least leave this webinar with an understanding of these sort of hacks that you can use yourself and find cool trades in the morning by following Walter Bloomberg on Twitter and get access to his upgrades that he gets from the Bloomberg terminal that he pays $2,500 a month for, and you get them for free. So pretty cool. So that's what the market's all about, guys, is just finding an edge. You just have to find an edge, focus on it, and execute it. A lot of people can find an edge, but they can't focus on it and execute because they get distracted because there's so many different strategies out there. So find something that works for you and follow through on it and execute it. That's the way you make it work with trading. All right. And you might say, well, Matt, look at the market. The market's down. We're worried about Jerome Powell, what he's going to say. And I get it, guys. But over time, the market's gonna work through this little fear that we're experiencing right now. The interest rate and the Treasury 10-year note going above 1.5%. The market's freaking out about it. But the bottom line is that people are just going to have to learn to live with a little bit higher interest rates. We're just pretty spoiled right now. So I think the market's going to shake off these jitters here pretty soon, and things are going to snap back higher. So it's going to be a good time to be in the market right now, and this pullback ultimately is going to be a gift.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to add something. Since we've been on this, Powell said they were going to keep interest rates low through 2023, and now the market's in positive territory. Mm-hmm. And I talked about at the beginning of the webinar, this can change so quickly. So when I talk about building your wish list, I have a wish list. I'm just adamant about building, a wish list of these strong stocks, that can really, really move, and just being ready to pounce when you get that signal in the market. I think this is a great time to, invest in Matt's service and really have an opportunity to hop on some of these hot stocks. And, man, it can change so quickly. And Matt, I'm sure you can attest this, but so many times, the market pops. Like, let's say it pops, today, it just reversed today. Everybody's bullish now. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, like the big stocks are popping now. And a lot of times people are going to wait till 2-3 weeks down the road after a lot of the easy money is made because they weren't ready, right? They're waiting on markets at all-time highs or something like that. So I think now is a good time to really, have that list ready and really pounce on some stocks. If the market pops today and could pop tomorrow. And I think it's a great time to be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. They talk about the Reddit traders. I got to give them credit. They have sort of brought fun back to trading in a way, because like talk about diamond hands, but really you also have to have sort of a diamond buy button. You have to know when not just to hold, but you have to know when to get in. Chasing things at the highs. Like they were encouraging other Reddit traders to buy GameStop at $300 a share. I mean, I wouldn't sleep too well doing that. But anyways, it's a changing market. It's becoming, a market full of a whole new batch of traders. Millennials are coming on board. And I say, hey, welcome aboard, guys. We need you here anyways, for the next generation to be involved in the stock market. I'm 43. I got a long road to go ahead of me, Lord willing. And man, it's just an exciting time. We have this little dip that we're in right now, and there's just so many stocks that are just waiting to, like I was talking about TH earlier, for a second. TH is a company that's tied to, it's like a business to business relationship with oil drillers. And what they do is they provide these temporary housing units for the workers on the rigs out there. And, they had a terrible 2020, right? Because the oil drillers shut down, the oil prices tanked. But now things are, a lot of the oil drillers are coming back to the Permian. I actually found a chart, that it's been increasing ever since November, I think, the number of oil rigs in the Permian. But so reading the quarterly report for Target Hospitality, TH shows that the majority of their revenue, over 50%, came from the oil companies renting out their temporary housing in the Permian. And the thing is, guys, is that TH hasn't really recovered that much. So I think there's an opportunity there where the market sort of hasn't appreciated the fact that TH is coming back with the oil industry. And if you look at the chart of any kind of oil service stock right now, look at Oxy or Exxon or ConocoPhillips. I mean, it's almost like a V-shaped recovery, at least in the last probably last 8 months. I know they're not anywhere near where they were, 15 years ago or anything, but I think, and then if you look at a chart of TH, you'll see that it hasn't really had that snapback rally yet. So anyways, I think the market is just is unaware of, there's still some opportunities out there the market hasn't appreciated yet. There's also things, I didn't cover, of course, all the strategies that I use, but I cover other things like social arbitrage, right? So you want to look at a stock that has, exploding sales of its product due to a TikTok trend, TikTok videos like Vera Bradley. So Vera Bradley, the reason I got on that trade, it only ended up being about a 15% win, but they signed a contract with Charlie D'Amelio or some, I forget how you say her last name. But anyways, she's a TikTok girl, and Dunkin' Donuts hired her, collaborated with her to do a special kind of iced coffee drink. And Dunkin' Donuts sales blew up, and the company actually ended up getting bought out last year. Or it might have been January or something, but it was recent. And so it just goes to show you the power of, if there's a social media trend that takes off, that boosts the fortunes of a publicly traded stock, especially if it's sort of like an under the radar stock, like Vera Bradley, and that remains to be seen. But basically, I just got in the stock because they it's becoming more public that they're collaborating with this girl and creating these bracelets that teenage girls wear to school and whatever. So anyways, just to let you know, there's lots of different ways to source out trade ideas. And that's what I do all day, guys. And a lot of times at night, a lot of times I'll tell my wife, say, hey, look, I got to work tonight. So, I'll communicate with her. So, she doesn't, feel neglected or anything. But, the point is, guys, I'm devoted to this. I want to make sure that I put my best foot forward and bring you guys only the best ideas that I possibly can. Doesn't mean they'll all be winners. Doesn't all mean they'll all be 135% winners like Riot. But, the research is there. You're paying for something that you're getting worth. You're getting way more than $497 worth of value here if you take advantage of this offer. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit because that wasn't one of the 3 strategies that I talked about in the beginning of the webinar. But just to let you know, there's a lot of research time that I put into this, and it's time well spent for me because it ends up being a great value for you. Okay.
I'd like to add something, and I'd like to kind of add a big picture view and why I think it's an exciting time to invest in some of these aggressive companies. Because if you've been following me for a minute, it's been a while since I've done a webinar or even talked about the super cycle. I believe we were in a super cycle like we were in the 80s and 90s. And, it started really, I believe, in 2013. Now, this is my subjective opinion, but in 2013, the S&P 500, that's when it really broke, the 2008 high or the 2007 high, the 2000 high. So, from 2000 to 2013, you had nothing, right? You had a flat decade plus a few years. Well, usually what follows that, and then the overall market broke out. We're talking about a very, very long-term chart here. Well, now we've been, these super cycles can last anywhere from usually 12 to 20 years. And I'm going all the way back to the 1920s, looking at charts. I feel right now we are halfway in that cycle, that super cycle. Think of these in the 90s where you're just double digit every year. Think about what happened last year. The market was at all-time highs at the end of the year, and we had, there's plenty of negative news out there. It just completely brushed it off. So when you have a guy like Matt who, has higher price targets, right? 75, 100% or whatever he's looking to accomplish. And like you said, it doesn't always happen, but I believe you definitely the point I'm trying to make is you never know how long these super cycles last, right? If I believe we've been in it for about 8 years, I think we could be in it for at least another 5 to 7, maybe even longer. But you really want to be aggressive during these times, and you really want to have higher price targets, even though there are months where you just, you feel like you got whacked, and that's all part of the game. But I believe the more aggressive you are with stocks like this or with investments, I get excited even talking about it. Like, you want to be long is what I'm saying with aggressive stocks, because I can't tell you how many people last year, when the NASDAQ was rallying off the March bottoms, everybody's waiting on that second leg. It never happened, right? And they just completely missed out until the market's at an all-time high, and then they just rushed to get in. So I'm really just trying to prove a point that, you want to follow rules like Matt has, but I think over the next 5 to 10, I think you really want to be aggressive if history is a guide. So I get excited. I start talking about this. I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah. What makes me think about, Steven, is, I'm sure you've seen some people use this tagline, but the Roaring 20s.
Yeah.
Like the roaring, we get to live through the Roaring 20s, man. How cool is that? Hopefully it doesn't end up like 1929 and 2029. But anyways, why not? Even if it does, why not ride it up all the way up till 2029?
Well, how about just the 80s and 90s? I'd take that,
I know, man. You could have threw a dart aboard in the 80s and 90s, really, and 10 baggers galore if you held it for for a few years. But yeah.
I know a guy, an old client back when I was financial advisor. When the crash of '87, he moved to cash and he never got back in. And I mean, this was, probably about 10 years ago. He was still in, 3% type investments. He missed the biggest bull run of his lifetime.
Right.
Would have had a lot of seven figures. But I tell you that story to say, hey, a lot of people might have got shaken out or, got hurt last February, when the market sold off. But don't let that rattle you, because even in super cycles where you want to go aggressive and you want to own the stocks like Matt owns, you can still have, bear markets, and that's just completely normal part of the process.
Right. Yeah. And, it's one thing to look at. It's one thing to look at the chart and say, okay, well, that was where the stock went down and went down the 50-day moving average. But it's another thing to sort of hold those stocks if they get down a little bit, not beyond, a reasonable loss like 20-25%, like I said. But I think another one of the benefits that I need to speak about, guys, of a service like mine and Steven's as well, is that we are there with you guys. We're not just going to go into hiding if a stock goes down. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know what my thoughts are. Say, hey, yeah. Obviously, it's not fun being in a stock when it goes against you, when it goes in the red, 5, 10, 15%, whatever. But having someone there to basically give you a bird's eye view of the situation helps you not to bail at the bottom, because there's nothing more frustrating than getting in a stock that has all the right things going for it. The market does what it's doing right now, where it's this weird story about the treasury rates and stuff like that. Haven't heard a story like that in a long time. And then gets shook out, and then all of a sudden the market decides that it's moved on from that. It doesn't care about interest rates anymore, and it goes higher. And then you check that stock 2, 3, maybe a month later, and it's at all-time highs, right? So I think one of the underappreciated values that a service like mine has is that I'm going to help you understand getting through the bumps in the road, right? And the speed bumps, whatever you want to call them, twists and turns in the road, because there is a lot of that with trading. There's a lot of that in life. But one of the things I'm going to help you with is understanding, okay, where we're at in terms of the roadmap of where we're trying to get to. This is a time. And there might be some times where, we take a hedge. I might, in 2020, there were some times where I alerted some stocks to short. Not very often, but in those early innings of the shutdown, everything was going down. So I did alert some shorts. Like one of them was Macy's. Macy's just got massacred last year for good reason, because all the malls were shut down, right? So now look at this, come out on the other side. It's doing better. But basically, I'll show you how to adjust to the ebbs and flows of the market. If it comes time to get bearish, yeah, well, maybe we'll exit most of our positions and put on a short sell. And if you don't know how to short sell, if you don't want to short sell, that's fine. But basically is, I'm going to help you get through not just the times when everybody's, posting, victorious memes on Twitter. I'm going to help you understand what we need to do during the times like now, where things are kind of sluggish to down. And basically the market is hitting the pause button. Help you get through those times so that you can survive, you can live to trade another day, and then eventually make it, when that season passes, get through the other side where you start to make great money again. All right, Rick says just join. Yeah, there's going to be a login. There should be an automated email that you guys are getting after you join that has a link to create your username and password for the members area. However, when we're done here, after I grab a drink of water, I'm going to send you guys a manual email just to make sure everything is all set up for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to make sure everybody's is taken care of today. And are there any more questions here before we maybe wrap up here in a few minutes? But a lot of people are joining from all over the country, and I just want to make sure that I'm not leaving any questions unanswered while you have me and Stephen here live and in living color today. Anybody else have questions? There's 39 people still in here, so I'm guessing one or two of you 39 folks has a question, or you still wouldn't be watching the webinar this long into the afternoon. So if there's a question, I want to make sure I answer it. And I really want to work with you and help you. And, let's see, I'm a brand new trader. Do you offer any one-on-one help? I'll help you the best I can, via email. There's, I don't really, I don't have like like an in-person thing, like a workshop or anything at this time. You can imagine that would be kind of hard right now, still with the coronavirus restrictions. But Sharon, I'll help you the best I can on email, and I'll even jump on the phone with you. I don't care. So any way I can help, I will. So I think I'm pretty accessible. There's no go-betweens. I don't have a secretary. So anyways, guys, yeah, I think I help a lot of people via direct message or email. All right, Sharon, anybody else have a question? Still almost 40 people here. So why not ask your question now, guys? And I'll just answer for you. A lot of people join in. I think the offer speaks for itself. The value speaks for itself. So make sure you guys go ahead and click that link in the chat box. It'll open up a new tab in your browser for the secure order form. And just go ahead and fill it out and put your credit card information in there. Make sure you put the right email address in there. Sometimes people make a typo on their email address, and it presents a little bit of a problem, because then I'm trying to send members only emails to an email address that doesn't exist. So just make sure you put your right email in there. Double check it before you click submit. You got to look at the terms and everything. We talked about a guarantee, 60-day guarantee. If you don't make money, if you made at least 3 trades, hey, I'll give you a refund and cancel your subscription, and we'll part as friends and go on with life, right? But I think you're going to end up liking the service, and I think you're going to stay, and I think you're going to enjoy your buy 1 year, get 1 year free offer. That's a full 2 years. So what is it? It's March 17th, 2021. So you'll be good all the way through late March of 2023. That's a long time from now, guys. So you guys will be all set as far as this service goes for a full 2 years, 24 months. It's a long time. And for the measly one-time payment of $497, right? And I'm here to personally help you too, as a bonus, like I told Sharon a second ago. All right. So manageable trades for people who have responsibilities such as full-time jobs, families to take care of, businesses to run, et cetera. All these alerts are fully they're doable, is what my point is, especially nowadays with smartphones. Okay, you can download your broker app on your phone, boom, put your trade in, easy peasy. All right, guys. All right, so I guess we'll close it out then. Sharon says, what broker do you recommend for using trades? I recommend E-Trade. Thank you, great seminar. Thank you, sir. So again, there's a sticky link in the chat box, or if you want to type it in, that's the link to type in. It's kind of long, so you're better off just typing or just clicking the link in the box. And we will be closing down this offer soon. Like I said, it is an offer that I only made once for people that are on my subscriber list. This is the first time it's ever been offered for anyone outside of my own personal, list of subscribers that I have for my company. So make sure you guys understand that this is a very limited offer. You're not going to see this everywhere. You're not going to be able to Google it and find it on Google. You'll be able to find the $97 a month one on Google, but not this one. All right. So understand this is a real, this is exclusive, like for real, not just making it up. And so it's a limited time thing. And so you guys, please go ahead and grab that right now. Go ahead and open up that order form in a new tab in your browser. Click that link in the chat box and fill out the order form. Click the purchase button, and I'll get you guys set up here before the end of the day. All right. Now, a lot of it should be set. It should set you up automatically, but I'm just going to make sure there's no hiccups in the system. Okay, and get your number added for text alerts for buy and sell alerts as well. All righty. Well, Stephen, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think we're good. I think really just kind of the point I wanted to make is I do believe now is the time, over the next couple of years. And one other point I did want to add, I talked about, a lot of people missing out last year, because there was so much negative news. Like if the market hits all-time high last year and there's nothing but negative out there, and the economy's bad, imagine what it could potentially do if, the economy is rebounding, right? The unemployment's going down. I just think it's an exciting time to invest.
Awesome. Okay, I agree 110%. And guys, we're going to go ahead and shut this down because, like I said, we want to be respectful of your time, but at the same time, I want to make sure we got everybody's questions and fully explained all the different strategies that I wanted to share with you guys today. So it was time well spent. Hopefully you feel that it was time well spent for you. I know it was for me. I enjoyed spending time here with you guys and with my good friend Steven. And again, click that link. If you can't complete the order form right now, guys, go ahead and still click that link. Leave that tab open because, like I said, you can't find it on Google. So you're going to want to click that link and leave that order form tab open. And then, later today, whatever, maybe you're too busy right now, maybe you don't have your credit card number on you, you can fill out that order form later today, this afternoon, maybe even this evening, and complete the checkout process. That way it's still available for you. All right. And I'll be setting everybody up just as soon as I can, as soon as I see those orders coming through. And I'll be in touch also as well via to all of you who registered for the webinar and showed up here before bedtime tonight. All right. So just want to, again, thank everybody. Thank you, Steven. And everybody have a great day. Remember, click that link right now while it's still there because it's about to be gone. And you'll have that order form open in a new tab. You can fill it out at your convenience later today. All right, guys, have a great day. I really appreciate it. And I really hope more of you join me. A lot of you already have. But let's do this together. Let's make some money. Let's make some money between now and March 17th, 2023. All right? Because you're getting a full 2 years. All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you again.